Now we're going to discuss what is a dump or a memory dump and what information it contains. So like I mentioned, the notepad got frozen at a particular point. That particular point was not of any interest. It was just waiting for message loop and stuff like that. But if there is some interesting happens in that program, like an unhandled exception or a hang or a high CPU, or any such problem happens in the notepad, a dump of that process address space or a snapshot or a photo of that particular state of that notepad will be of interest. And that is exactly what dump is all about. And there are different ways to collect the dump. There is this .dump command, there is AD+. We'll see multiple tools which we can collect the dump. But right now we are trying to understand the concept of what is a dump. So in user mode, dump is nothing but the snapshot or the saved state of committed bytes of a process address space. So committed bytes is the number of bytes a process or a thread can touch. If a byte is not committed, you will get an access violation. That is what the user dump is all about. A kernel full dump, I'm talking about full dump here, mini dumps are different story. It's a subset of the full dump anyway. Now, the kernel dump is the ditto copy of the RAM with some additional headers and stuff like that. In user mode, when you take a dump using certain commands, you will get different amount of information. So mini dump with call stack, a mini dump with registers. So different sizes it comes with different level of information. So it depends on what level of information you want. You can take that kind of mini dump. Full dump is the dump which has all the information we need of that particular process. Relation between live dump binary and time travelers. Live debugging is, like I mentioned, you can go forward in time. Yeah, if you type the p command, so p command is F10 or step over. We have seen that. We won't be using it a lot because we don't do much of a live debugging in this series. That is live debugging. You can go forward in time through the execution of the program by executing the next instruction EIP was pointing to. Always live debugging is about that. But once it is broken into the debugger, we are looking at an instance of particular program. Dump, just one instance of the memory. We can't go forward or backward. It's just one instance, just like a photograph of the execution. And binary, we will see binary. You can open the binary, any binary inside the debugger and look at the code of that binary. It's just very similar to dump. It's just that dump has a lot of other things like all the binary loaded into the application, the heap, stack, threads, everything. But binary doesn't have any of those things. It's just that binary itself. It's very useful for reverse engineering. Now, time traveler's tracing is you can go backward and forward. You can put a reverse or debugging breakpoint in the past, and you can break in the past by G- and stuff like that. We will see that in the future presentations. So dump is nothing but the file which is the copy of the memory of a frozen state of the application or kernel. Whenever I say application or program, I mean either it's a user mode or kernel mode. If there is anything different in kernel mode, I'll specifically mention that. Yeah, at this point we have discussed it's a snapshot of the memory. In user mode, it's committed bytes. In kernel mode, it's the RAM. So committed bytes is the bytes which a program can touch. Yeah, anything you get through virtual alloc, heap alloc, malloc, the Java, new, C++ new, all those adds into the committed bytes, along with the space of the global variables. Anything and everything we can touch legally is committed bytes. So mini dump we discussed, it is a subset of the full dump. It will contain less information than the full memory dump because the full memory dump can be very big. In certain scenarios, it's not possible to collect full memory dump in every exception because there will be a lot of exceptions, etc. So in that case, a mini dump is advised, and from there we get the minimal amount of information and we troubleshoot further. Yeah, we will see a whiteboard later, probably not now. There is a slide coming up for the whiteboard.